Lesson: Principles of Risk Management. The principles of risk management are crucial in enhancing the proficiency of professionals engaged in contract risk mitigation and compliance. Effective risk management involves identifying, assessing, and prioritizing risks, followed by the application of resources to minimize, control, or eliminate the probability and impact of unfortunate events. At its core, risk management is about making informed decisions by understanding the uncertainties and potential threats that could hinder the achievement of objectives. In contract management, these principles become even more critical as contracts form the backbone of business operations, outlining obligations, rights, and the distribution of risks between parties. One of the primary principles of risk management is risk identification, which involves pinpointing potential risks that could affect contract performance. This process requires a thorough understanding of the contract's scope, context, and environment. Practical tools for risk identification include brainstorming sessions, checklists, and SWOT analysis. For instance, a company entering into a construction contract might use a checklist to identify risks related to site conditions, weather, labor availability, and regulatory compliance. Case studies have shown that companies that engage in systematic risk identification are better prepared to handle unforeseen events, thus avoiding costly disputes and project delays. Once risks are identified, the next step is risk assessment, which involves evaluating the likelihood and impact of each identified risk. This process can be facilitated by qualitative or quantitative methods, or a combination of both. Qualitative methods may include expert judgment and risk matrices, which categorize risks based on their probability and impact. Quantitative methods, such as Monte Carlo simulations or decision tree analysis, provide a numerical basis for evaluating risks. For example, a technology firm might use a risk matrix to assess the potential impact of cybersecurity threats on a software development contract, prioritizing high-probability, high-impact risks for immediate attention. Statistics suggest that companies employing robust risk assessment techniques can reduce project risk by up to 30%. Following risk assessment, risk prioritization is essential to determine which risks require the most attention. The Pareto principle, often referred to as the 80-20 rule, is a practical framework for risk prioritization, suggesting that 80% of potential problems can often be traced to 20% of the causes. By focusing on the most significant risks, organizations can allocate resources more effectively. For instance, in a supply chain contract, a company might prioritize risks associated with key suppliers, as disruptions from these sources could have the most significant impact on operations. Risk response planning then comes into play, involving the development of strategies to mitigate identified risks. These strategies can be categorized as risk avoidance, reduction, sharing, or acceptance. Risk avoidance involves altering plans to circumvent potential risks, such as opting not to enter a contract if the risks outweigh the benefits. Risk reduction focuses on minimizing the impact or likelihood of a risk, such as implementing quality control measures to reduce the risk of product defects. Risk sharing involves transferring a portion of the risk to another party, such as through insurance or outsourcing. Finally, risk acceptance is a strategy where the risk is acknowledged, but no action is taken, often due to cost-benefit considerations. A practical example could be a pharmaceutical company entering into a partnership contract and opting for risk sharing by co-developing a drug, thereby distributing the development risks and costs. Monitoring and reviewing risks is a continuous process and a fundamental principle of risk management. This involves tracking identified risks, reassessing their status, and evaluating the effectiveness of risk response strategies. The use of risk management software can greatly enhance this process, providing real-time data and analytics to assist in decision-making. For example, an international manufacturing firm might use software to monitor geopolitical risks that could affect its global supply chain contracts, allowing for rapid adjustments to its risk management strategies as conditions change. Studies indicate that continuous risk monitoring can improve risk management outcomes by up to 25%. Communication and consultation are integral to effective risk management, ensuring that all stakeholders are aware of risks and involved in the decision-making process. This principle emphasizes the importance of a collaborative approach where input from various departments and levels within an organization is considered. Regular meetings, reports, and updates facilitate this communication, ensuring that risk management is a shared responsibility. For instance, in a large-scale infrastructure project, engaging stakeholders such as contractors, government agencies, and community representatives can lead to a more comprehensive understanding of potential risks and the development of more effective mitigation strategies. Finally, the principle of continuous improvement encourages organizations to learn from past experiences and refine their risk management practices. This involves analyzing lessons learned from previous projects, reviewing risk management outcomes, and adapting processes to enhance efficiency and effectiveness. For example, a financial services firm might conduct post-project evaluations to identify any gaps in its risk management approach, using this information to improve future contract negotiations and risk assessments. In conclusion, the principles of risk management provide a structured approach to identifying, assessing, and mitigating risks within contract management. By employing practical tools and frameworks such as risk matrices, the Pareto principle, and risk management software, organizations can effectively address real-world challenges and enhance their proficiency in managing contract risks. The integration of continuous monitoring, stakeholder communication, and lessons learned further strengthens the risk management process, ensuring that organizations are well equipped to navigate the complexities of contract risk mitigation and compliance. As professionals in the field continue to develop their skills in these areas, they contribute to the overall resilience and success of their organizations in an increasingly complex and interconnected business environment.